Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Yes, we're still on top of the world, aren't we? Looking down on the Rangers. But we're still in a very good mood following Sunday's game. I am still buzzing. I'm hoping that all of you are still buzzing. And hopefully the good news and the good times continues to roll out of Celtic Park. Today, we got a little bit of news, a little bit of speculation about the future of one of Celtic's star performers on Sunday. In fact, the match winner on Sunday, Cameron Carter-Vickers. We know that he's only on loan here this season. Will he still be a Celtic player next season? I don't know, but we've certainly got some form of update towards that situation. We done it. We hit 33,000 subscribers. Thank you all so very much. It is so much appreciated. We'll keep rolling. We're trying to get towards 40,000. So please, if you haven't already, go down below and hit the subscribe button. Turn it from red to grey. Hit the like button as well. But once more, as we always hit these milestones, I always find it hard to try and express my appreciation and my thank you. But honestly, I do mean it. And honestly, I appreciate it more than you'll know. So thank you for hitting that 33k. And now let's get into talking about the big man himself, CCV, Cameron Carter-Vickers. So the man himself, Cameron Carter-Vickers, what a player, brilliant. He's been fantastic all season, consistently one of the best players in this squad and probably up there at the very top of the conversation in my eyes as a player of the season candidate. You've got guys who have worked hard and been good from start to finish, and he's been one of those guys. He's been consistent every game, and I've been loving him. He's been one of the best centre-halves I've seen at Celtic in a long time, and I would go as far as to say the best centre-half I've seen at Celtic since Virgil van Dijk, probably. I really can't think of any better. I've been massive fans of players. I was a massive fan of Christopher Ajer. I was a massive fan of even the likes of Eric Sviatchenko. Jason Denayer, brilliant player, but I honestly do believe that Cameron Carter-Vickers is better than any centre-half we've seen since Virgil. And you know, I've always been very critical and very open about recency bias in the Celtic support, and I've always been one that's tried to stay away from recency bias. I don't really like it. I like to judge things as time moves on and we give it time to compare against other situations and other times. But with Cameron Carter-Vickers, I feel like that's a safe statement. I feel like that's one that I can fully buy into, fully believe and say very proudly that he's the best since Virgil van Dijk, because he's been that good. He deserves that sort of credit, that sort of praise. He's came in here on a loan deal in a situation we probably didn't know much about him. He came in last minute. I believe it was a deadline day signing, and it was really kind of like okay, this could be good. Tottenham Hotspur player, been on loan at a few English sides. There could be potential in this, but nobody was really certain of what we were going to get with Cameron Carter-Vickers, and he's came in, and from the get-go, from the minute he stepped foot on the pitch for Celtic, he's been fantastic. And that for me has just spoke volumes about him as a player, his ability, his confidence, and just about that overall statement, how good he actually is. On Sunday, he was absolutely immense once more, and him and Starfelt, what a partnership they have developed as the two centre-halves for this club. You know, for as much criticism as Starfelt might get off certain individuals, and for as much praise that Carter-Vickers gets in comparison to him, and you know, there's all these different little narratives that everybody has about each player, but overall, as a partnership, they have been fantastic. They've not lost a domestic game, I believe, when they've started together this season. That's a fantastic record. They've conceded the least goals in the league as well. You can say as much as you like, but the stats will go to show, and the statements will show that this is a very impressive centre-half partnership, one that we should be trying our absolute best in keeping at Celtic Football Club. They have grown so well together. They complement each other nicely, and I think both of them have learned and grown off each other. Carter-Vickers has been absolutely fantastic. He's been really, really good, and Sunday's performance was unbelievable. Defensively, solid, done his job, kept Rangers out, but also offensively, he got us that winning goal. He was there, he was in the mix, he was at the right place at the right time, and that's Carter-Vickers done that on a number of occasions now this season. He's scored 4 goals this season. One of them was that long ranger that took the deflection. I think it was against Ross County, but he's scored 4 goals this season. He's been busy in that area. He's offered us a bit of something at both ends, and that is something that's really difficult to come across sometimes at Celtic. But what's also difficult to come across at Celtic is overall a decent centre-half. Let's be honest about that. Let's be real. We have had decent centre-halves, but we've never really had one since Virgil who's been the complete player, who's been risk-free, who's been error-free, who's been as confident, who's strolled it. There's always been baggage to some extent. Now, some more than others, but even look at the best of the best. Christopher Ajer, he still had dodgy moments in him. He still had a couple of errors in his game. He still got critiqued by some people in some media outlets. You look at the likes of Sviatchenko, Boyata, all these defenders over the past 5 or so years, they all had an error in them. I honestly feel like Cameron Carter-Vickers is the most assured, confident, solid defender that we've seen. I can't remember him making a single mistake in a Celtic jersey. I really can't. And that is so unique to come by at Celtic. It feels like it's something we've really not had. I made a video a couple of months ago. I can't remember the exact date, but it was titled Why Celtic Must Sign Cameron Carter-Vickers. And I spoke about these exact same things in that video. At that point in the season, time has now progressed and that conversation has become stronger and the need to sign him has become much stronger. We can't afford to lose a player of that ability. I think he will be totally hard to... I think it would be really hard to replace. Really, really hard. We will find players. We always do. That's how it works. We've got scouts for a reason. They will go out and identify and sign players to fill in the gaps of these players when they eventually move on from Celtic. But I really do believe we will struggle to find a player who can replace the quality of Cameron Carter-Vickers, who can bring in a partnership to Starfelt like Cameron Carter-Vickers. I feel like this is one we need to prioritise, and I'm so glad that we got that update today about the man and his potential future at Celtic Football Club. So the Daily Record reported this morning that Cameron Carter-Vickers and Celtic are edging closer to agreeing a deal to bring him into Celtic permanently next season. However, this isn't without competition, and there never is an easy attempt to sign somebody without competition, especially when you've played so well and you already play at a level where you have some recognition. You know, these clubs in England won't be new to Cameron Carter-Vickers. They will have heard of him, they will have seen him, and they've probably scouted him in the past. Celtic have just happened to be one of these clubs who have went in there and nipped ahead of some folk and got a chance to see him firsthand. And you know what, we have that advantage that he's here, that we can sign him, but we will struggle. We will have to battle, and it's hopefully a battle we can win. The talk is Leicester City, Wolves and Burnley are all interested in Cameron Carter-Vickers. So we've got, you know, Brendan Rodgers ready to battle out. You've got Wolves who have had a fantastic season under Bruno Lage, and you've got Burnley who have been Premier League mainstays for the best part of the last decade with Sean Dyche. However, maybe not a Premier League club more going into next season. But these are hard teams to beat to a player. They really are, and you've got to understand the difficulties when it comes to this. But when you read into the reports in the article, take it all with a pinch of salt, as I always say. But when you read into it a bit more, I am confident of the direction Celtic are heading in, and we do look as though we could be the favourites to actually land the signing of Cameron Carter-Vickers. Apparently his camp, which I'm assuming is his agent, his staffing around him and everybody else, they believe Celtic's the best option for him after the season he's had here. He's had a fantastic season. He's really probably raised his stake in the game. His stock is probably going up a little bit, and he can have the chance to do that even further going into next season when he can win more trophies under Ange Postecoglou. But more importantly, he'll get the chance to be on the biggest stage of them all, the Champions League. Look, if Celtic do win this league title, which we're looking at a great position to do now, we will be in the Champions League group stages next season. A massive opportunity for someone like Cameron Carter-Vickers, an opportunity that ultimately he's never going to get at Wolves, he's never going to get at Leicester, and he's certainly never going to get at Burnley. This is a really big opportunity for him, and we have that advantage now. We have that advantage of not only the Champions League football being there, but the money that comes alongside it. We now probably can afford to pay a little bit extra. We can bump up his wages, maybe we can offer a better deal than what he's getting. Yes, it's hard to compete with the Premier League money, don't get me wrong. It's probably still a competition that we can't really win in, but at the same time, we have the ability now to go, okay, here's a bit more. Let's do this. Let's bring him through the doors and he'll have that Champions League football. You've got to remember, this is a guy who's ultimately competing for a spot at the World Cup in Qatar. He's got a chance to be going there with the American national team. He could be in a group with England. He could be in a group with Scotland, potentially. It's a massive stage for him that he won't want to miss out on, and his chances might be best of that if he's playing in European football, if he's playing in that sort of knockout competition like a World Cup. So we've landed ourselves in a really good position. And the numbers that are being thrown about for the signing, well, if we win the £40 million for the Champions League, we shouldn't really struggle with that. Apparently, the option to buy clause is locked in with Tottenham at £6 million. It could rise to £10 million with the additional fees that come alongside these things. That's a fee we can afford, and it's a fee that we should be paying. £10 million, if it rises to that, get it paid. Absolutely. I would pay £10 million up front, quite frankly, for Cameron Carter-Vickers. And I know a lot of people won't agree with that, and a lot of people will say no, because he's not a forward. He doesn't score goals, he doesn't get all those nice statistics, but I think £10 million for a centre half of his ability is an absolute steal for Celtic, especially when $40 million could be coming through the door. We've got to go ahead and pay that for me. It's got to be paid. $6 million, $10 million, I don't care. I'd probably go as high as 15, and I'm not getting carried away here. I genuinely really think we need to keep a hold of this guy. He'll be our best bet for Champions League football, I think, for trying to keep out goals, which we know isn't easy for Celtic in Champions League football, but he is probably our best bet. I really want us to go out there and get it done. He's only 24 years old as well. You're talking a potentially longer stay at Celtic at that age, and you're talking about a potentially profitable stay at Celtic. So even if it isn't a long stay, you're probably going to make money if teams like Leicester and teams like Wolves keep looking at him. Not even going to get Burnley involved because they're relegation fodder, but you look at, if these teams keep touting him, keep looking at him, eventually the chance comes along for Celtic to make profit in a player like this as well. Reportedly, he's on a fee of around £20,000 a week as well at the moment at Tottenham Hotspur, a fee that I think we can also do better than, and we can also match if we need to. So yeah, I'm hoping it gets all done neat and tidy, quickly, fashionable, and hopefully Cameron Carter-Vickers is a permanent Celtic player next season. That'll do us for today. That's all the news I've got to speak about. There's going to be a lot more through the week as well, I hope, but we'll leave it off for there today. If you have enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Hail, hail, and I'll see you all next time.